The flight attendant's finger was an inch from her face. "Ma'am, you need to gather your things and move to economy. Now." Sarah Mitchell didn't move. She pulled her daughter Lily tighter against her chest. The little girl pressed her face into her mother's cardigan, her stuffed rabbit crushed between them. "I paid for this seat," Sarah said quietly. "I have the ticket. There's clearly been a mistake. This is a first-class cabin." 12 hours earlier, Sarah had used the last of her late husband's life insurance to book this flight. Her daughter had never met her grandfather. He was dying in a hospital 4,000 miles away, and this was their only chance. She'd splurged on the upgrade because the doctor said her father might only have days left, and she wanted Lily's first memory of meeting him to be a good one, not a cramped, exhausted one. Now a stranger was trying to take that away in front of 40 passengers. "I checked the system twice," the flight attendant snapped. "Your name isn't matching our records correctly. I need this seat for a paying customer." The words hung in the air. Lily started to cry. A man in the row across the aisle looked up from his laptop. He said nothing, but he was watching closely. "Please," Sarah whispered. "My daughter is scared. Can we just figure this out quietly? You can figure it out in economy." That's when heavy footsteps came down the aisle. The cockpit door had opened. The captain walked toward them, his hand raised, asking for calm before he'd even said a word. If you believe small moments like this can still change everything, that kindness and courage haven't disappeared from this world, hit like right now and subscribe, because what happens next on this flight is going to surprise you. The captain stopped beside Sarah's seat. He looked at the boarding pass in her hand. Then he looked at her face, and something shifted in his eyes. "Sarah?" he said slowly. "Sarah Whitfield?" She blinked. No one had called her that name in 11 years. It was the name she'd had before she married. That was my maiden name. "How do you?" "You don't remember me," he said. "Why would you?" It was 2015. A diner off Route 9. 3 in the morning. I was broke, stranded, my car had died, and I hadn't eaten in 2 days. Sarah's mouth opened slightly. A memory, buried deep, began rising to the surface. "You were a waitress there," he continued. "I sat at the counter, too proud to admit I couldn't pay. You brought me a meal anyway. Told your manager it was a mistake on the ticket. You covered it yourself out of your own tips." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes. She remembered now. A quiet, tired stranger. She never thought about it again after that night. It was just one small kindness among thousands of exhausting shifts. "I was trying to get home to my daughter," the captain said. "I just lost my job. I didn't know how I was going to feed her that week. That meal you gave me, it wasn't just food. It was hope at the lowest point of my life." He turned to the flight attendant, his voice now firm. "This woman does not move from this seat. Not today. Not ever. On any flight I'm captaining." The flight attendant's face went pale. "Sir, I didn't know." "You didn't ask," he said. "You judged." But this still wasn't the moment that would change everything. Because what the captain didn't know yet, what no one on that plane knew yet, was that Sarah's father, the man she was flying across the world to see one last time, had a name the captain would recognize the instant he heard it. The captain knelt slightly, lowering his voice. "Where are you headed, Sarah?" "Why this flight today?" "My father," she said, her voice breaking. "He doesn't have much time left." "Robert Whitfield." The captain went still. "Robert Whitfield. From the Army base in Fort Bragg." "Captain Whitfield?" Sarah nodded, confused. "He pulled me out of a vehicle that was on fire in 1998, the captain said, his voice shaking now. "I was 19. I would not be alive. I would not have a daughter. I would not be standing in this aisle right now if your father hadn't run back into that wreckage for me." The cabin had gone completely silent. Even Lily had stopped crying, watching the tall man in uniform with wide eyes. "I never got the chance to thank him," the captain said. "I looked for him for years." He turned to the cabin crew. "Bring this family anything they need. Champagne, the good blankets, whatever Lily wants. This is not a request." Then he turned back to Sarah, and for one quiet moment, the busy airport gate outside the window, the waiting passengers, the entire world seemed to disappear. "Your father saved my life," he said. "Now let me make sure his granddaughter never forgets what kindness looks like." When they landed, the captain didn't just wish her goodbye at the cockpit door. He walked her and Lily through customs himself, arranged a car, and made one phone call to ensure a hospital room was waiting the moment they arrived. Sarah held her father's hand for 3 more days before he passed. He met his granddaughter. He heard her laugh. He told her she had her mother's strength. And somewhere, thousands of feet above the ocean, a single act of kindness from 11 years ago had quietly traveled forward through time, waiting patiently for the exact moment it was needed most. If this story moved you, even a little, subscribe for more true stories of kindness, courage, and the quiet moments that change everything.